Yeah, that's right.
Alrighty.
Alrighty, we're on.
We're live.
Welcome everyone to day 2 Premier Bracket of the TSF Team Champs 2025.
It's day 2. We had a pretty big and exciting day 1.
Yesterday was massive.
Yeah, a long one, a great one.
A long one. A long one, but a great one simultaneously. I'm Billy, by the way. And I'm joined by Alex today.
And I think we are going to make for some great commentary, Billy. I think
so
that we've got some great insight between us. We've got someone that's heavily involved with organising the competition itself and one of the teams, and myself who was involved in competing with one of the teams as well. So I think we're going to be able to...
Great insight.
Thank you.
Big fan of the sport.
Thanks. I didn't want to say it about myself.
And we've got me. I just rolled in.
But no, I'm excited to call this with you. I think that the best thing about this comp is that there is a lot to sort of unpack within it, because it's not just a regular local comp. Did you want to tell us, for those who are just tuning in today, a bit more about the competition format and really what we're seeing unfold today?
Yeah, let's do it. So, Team Champs is, as the name implies, a team event It's quite unique in its format. Powerlifting is traditionally an individual sport. Team Champs has teams submit a team of 4 lifters and 1 coach to battle it out on a point system. So while the individual lifters compete in their individual weight class, which is what we'll see today, the overall point score is accrued across the team. So lifters accrue points based on their placing. First place takes 6, second place takes 4 points, third place takes 2 points.
Third takes 4, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
And then 1, 1, 1, 1 after that.
Yep. I think what's really cool about that and why it makes it such an exciting comp is that everyone that's lifting today, you know, is doing their part to win as many points as they can. So it doesn't matter if you're not going for, if you can't make to first or second, you know, an important decision that means you end up in 3rd or 4th instead of 5th can be the difference between a team placing higher or not.
Exactly. Yeah, the points are pretty tight and every point matters. So yesterday we had the challengers bracket. Their results are all final. So there was a bunch of teams that competed yesterday. Those points are all accrued, and those teams are kind of sitting ducks now. They've got their point tally, they've got their totals there, and all the teams competing today are competing to knock these guys off their spots. So there's lifters competing in specific weight classes today who are competing against guys that competed in specific weight classes yesterday, and they're looking to take points off them from yesterday. So there's a huge advantage to competing on day 2. The teams that competed on day 1, they were competing to earn their point in day 2 for next year. So yesterday we had 4 teams get promoted to the Premier Bracket for next year. We had Process Powerlifting, coached by Alex Hayes out of Sydney, take the top spot. They took home $500 cash prize, and they're being promoted to the Premier Bracket next year. In second place, we had Compound Training out of Tasmania. That was a really tight battle between Process and Compound. That was massive.
Came down to the final deadlift.
Final deadlift the whole day. So they took second place. They'll also be promoted next year. In third place, we had Paragon Strength and Performance out of Sydney, coached by Beck Chambers. They will be promoted next year. And in fourth place, we had Avia Performance from Melbourne, who will be promoted next year.
One thing to note, and Avia actually just got into 4th because the point of difference at the end of the day was a volunteer point. So one thing unique about the scoring system here at the Team Champs is that 1 point is awarded to teams who are able to submit a volunteer to help run the comp. One initiative I think is really awesome by the Strength Fortress. And in the end, that meant that Avia slipped into the top 4 and get promoted for next year.
Melbourne Uni missed by 1 point
from
not having a volunteer. That's big lesson in that one. But yeah, Team Champs is a huge community event. Huge point is camaraderie and getting everyone involved. Hello.
I just realised you're on the camera.
All right, good luck. Have fun. Okay, you talk. I'm off.
Team Champs. So today we have the Premier teams, and it is a big advantage going on day 2 because you can see who's already lifted on day 1. It is dependent on weight classes. You know, there might be some weight classes where there's only 1 lifter to go today. There might be some weight classes where the key head-to-head battles are today. But if you're in the unique scenario where you are the last lifter alone on day 2, basically you can do the minimum required to get maximum points within your weight class. So it is a big advantage already knowing the totals of particular lifters from day 1, giving all these Premier teams a slight advantage. But at the end of the day, more often than not, the strongest prevail.
Exactly right. It's like you can have all the strategy in the world, you still got to be stronger.
True.
Strategy only works if you're strong enough. So we have 8 teams competing today. Yeah, 8 teams. We've got Stronghold Ballarat. We have Apex Strength, based out of Melbourne. Melbourne Strength Culture, based out of Melbourne also in Moorabbin. Sim Strength, coached by Josh Sim. SR Strength Collective out of Altona. Elemental Strength Society, also from Melbourne, based out of Deer Park. Crundle Crew, coached by Matt Crundle, also out of Melbourne. And Uplift Performance, team of Victor Liu, but coached today by Charles. So 8 teams. They're 8 teams that have earned their spot in the Premier Bracket owing to their performance last year. So they're battling it out for the overall cash prizes. And some. All right, lifting is kicking off, starting with Tink Ann. First squat of the day. Tink is competing in the women's 47 kilo class, representing sim strength. This is her opening attempt at 87.5 kilos.
Squat. Back.
Like a nice opening squat. So in this afternoon session, we are seeing all of the women's classes except the 69s. So we're seeing the 47 kilo women, 52, 57, 63, 76, and 84 kilogram women.
Stand up, please. Yep. That's good.
Danny here from SR Strength Collective.
Danny's coming out for 107.5 kilos. And she's competing in the 57 kilo women's class.
Squat.
So as I mentioned before, all of these women are competing against women that have competed already yesterday. So the totals that have been, recorded yesterday are locked in, no changes to those. And these girls all have the results that they need to try to beat in order to accrue the max points possible for their team. Next up we have Amanda Lay. Amanda Lay is representing Uplift Performance. Amanda was a late call-in actually, only got the call up about 4 weeks ago. She's got a lot hanging on her today, actually.
Yeah, she's the last lifter of the 52s. The rest of them competed yesterday, and it was Jordan DiStefano who finished on top. So there's a good chance Amanda is trying to hunt down that total, see if she can sneak away with 6 points. It might be a tall task. We might see her try and just secure the second place, but we'll probably find out by the end of squats what the strategy might be today for Blue Uplift.
Squat.
Nice opener there.
Uplift have historically been extremely successful at Team Champs. They were the winners in 2023. And they are just an extraordinarily strong team. So at the moment, Jordan DiStefano of Process Powerlifting is in the lead for the total competition. So if Amanda couldn't knock some points off Jordan, that would be a pretty big upset for Process. But similarly, if she's unable to do that, Process are sitting among the favourites to win the overall competition, even competing from day one.
Tracy here from Stronghold Ballarat, opening with 110 kilos.
Tracy actually competed at Mega Nationals only 4 or 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
It's quite recent, yeah.
She took out second place in the Masters.
Squat.
But big news in overnight though regarding Uplift. They had to pull a lifter out. So Jansen in the 93 kilo class is not lifting today. He's been subbed out, or rather Ari has been subbed in for him, also in the 93 kilo class. So Uplift do face a 2-point penalty, which could really shake up their final standings.
Next up we have Stephanie coming out of Crundle Crew. Stephanie competing in the women's 57 kilogram class. Opening her squat account on 115 kilos. Lovely opening attempt.
So it was Sophie Dobson who won the 57 kilo class yesterday and is in the lead currently in the 57 kilo class. She will be, I think she'll probably end up being one of the best performances of the weekend, Billy. So I do think she might have an unattainable lead, but it'll be interesting to see how some of these totals sort of pan out.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this is a guess.
Yep.
But an educated guess.
Okay.
Sophie could be the best female lifter so far.
I I think you're right. I briefly was looking at the GL points for compound, and I thought that was a very high number I saw next to her name.
We did the maths on the average GL points for all of compound yesterday, and boy, oh boy, is that a strong team. All right,
now we have
Twee
Twee,
here.
which will be really, really interesting to see now the head-to-head between Twee and Constance today. They're both battling out in the 63 kilo class.
Just waiting on a referee call on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
3 red lights on that. So 2 calls. The left side referee has called that on depth. I believe the right side as well. And I believe chief referee Alex has maybe called that on not being fully upright at the completion of the lift. So in the squat discipline, the lifter does have to have their hip joint pass below the level of the knee joint at the bottom of the squat. And at the start and completion of the squat, they should be standing completely upright, hips locked, save for a slight deviation of the trunk. I don't think she'd satisfy that.
I think for context, Twee's an extremely experienced lifter. I thought that was a very odd miss. I'm not sure if there's something we don't know, but in a head-to-head that's projected to be this close, not how we wanted to start the day. Constance here with 137.5 kilos.
Smooth, but dare I say a little bit harder than I would expect.
I would agree. Now it's really interesting to see what Sim Strength and Twee do for their second attempt. We might be able to read what they've put in for a second.
They have put in 132.5.
Okay. So
Again, they'll be reattempting the
retake
same amount.
Yep.
So Twee and Constance, both very experienced lifters. Yeah, their results for today have a pretty big weight on the overall competition, but they are just competitive women.
Yep.
So yeah, as you said, Twee, very experienced, unusual way to fail. Right. Ardwa now representing Apex Strength, opening her account at 152.5 kilos, competing in the 84 kilo class.
Really nice
Oh,
one.
that's such a nice squat.
Yeah. Where are we at with the 84s? So yesterday, Emily Kano is currently in the lead yesterday, and her total was 482.5. The squat will be a big one today because I think it might end up coming down to the last
Final
deadlift, to be
deadlift.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ardwa's best total ever is 475 kilos, and Emily rounded out yesterday at 482.5. So they're in a really tight battle. Emily has a monster squat, so Ardwa's really just looking to build a total now. And it will come down to final deadlift, with Ardwa maybe being the bigger deadlifter. All right, back to the top now with Tink coming out for her second attempt at 90 kilos.
She looked a little bit shocked with that one.
Yeah,
Probably a bit harder than
slightly
she
harder
wanted.
than you'd like for a second attempt. Would Tink be the favourite in the 47 kilo class? Yes,
She would
is.
be. She would be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So she's competing against 2 lifters that competed yesterday, Jessica and Pam, who both registered, honestly, really, really competitive totals in the 47 kilo class.
Yeah, the best total we've got down for Tink is 295. Jessica went 287.5 yesterday, so it sort of suggests Tink can't really miss today.
Yeah. See? All right, Danny now coming out for 115 kilos for her second attempt squat. These are some challenging second attempts.
It was, objectively, looks like a maximal effort, and they have an interesting choice now. Do they just not attempt a third, save energy for the rest of the day, or did something technically go wrong that they think they can rectify? All questions that we don't know the answer to. We can only speculate.
Coach is submitting a card. Let's see. All All right, next up, Amanda Lay from Uplift Performance, 117.5, 7.5 kilo jump from her opener of 110. So the teams competing today have really two major competitions that they're part of. One is they're trying to win the prize money, first place prize of $2,500. Second place, $1,500. Third place, $1,000. Total prize pool of $5,500. But secondly, also a little hard. The teams are also fighting to maintain their spot in the Premier bracket for 2026. So as we mentioned before, 4 teams from the Challengers bracket will be promoted to the Premier, and 4 teams from the Premier will be relegated to the Challengers in 2026.
Speaking amongst the Premier coaches in the back room just then, honestly, I think the main objective for the vast majority of teams is to stay in the bracket. There aren't too many teams saying, oh yeah, we're planning to come first. I think it's a lot more difficult this year to be able to maintain that Premier position. Yeah,
we've only got 8 teams in that Premier position. 4 of them are going down. 50% of you guys out. It's brutal. All right, Stephanie now, 120 kilos. Jumped 5. Pretty small jump from first to second. Reasonably surprised, only a 5 kilo jump. Her opener was good. And that second was nice. The second moved how a second should.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I'd say it was the right call. Yep, that was a lovely squat. Tracy Keogh now, 120 kilos on her second attempt. As I mentioned before, Tracy competed at Mega Nationals as an M2 lifter just a few weeks ago. So the TSF Team Champs is an open competition where lifters of all ages battle it out. If you're a master or you're a junior, you're competing against everyone. So Tracy's here as an M2 lifter, which tells you that she is in her, no, M3. Tracy's she's M3. Tracy's in her 60s. And she's battling it out against these women in their 20s.
So good to see.
And holding her damn own.
I love it.
And she will be hungry for a bit of redemption today, I think. Ooh, 2 red lights. I think that might have been depth. Tracy did have her 3rd attempt at Mega Nationals a few weeks ago. She stumbled at lockout. She did this cracking 3rd attempt squat at 122.5 kilos. Stumbled a bit at lockout, no lift. So I know she was pretty hungry to, redeem her performance there. So 2 reds on her 2nd attempt, that won't sit well with her. All right, Twee coming out now to re-attempt 132.5. So she failed this on her opener. 1 referee called depth, 2 referees called depth, 1 referee called her on soft lockout. Dare I say she'll nail this?
It moved a lot better. I am
that was high.
Worried about depth. I am worried about depth.
Yeah, 2 red lights, no good lift.
Where are you seeing that? I'm looking up there just wait, I'm like, how do you know?
Just vibes, man.
All right, really,
that's brutal.
Now, I think it's really going to shake up the day. Look, with how it moved and a lifter that experience, and they're obviously going to retake the weight, I would expect her to be able to pull it off, come back, widen the stance, do anything to get it deeper.
Let's see. Coach has just submitted a card, we'll see. All right, Constance 145 now. Only jumped 7.5. Her opener was a little slow, but these are certainly weights that are very manageable for Constance.
Yeah.
That looks better. That looks very harder than her opener.
Way better.
Yeah, that moved how she wanted 137 to move. Yeah, cool. Okay, Twee has submitted 132.5 kilos. She'll be taking that again for a 3rd time. That's brutal. That's really important.
And look, a lot can happen. People can miss more lifts, but that has very well may have cost this head-to-head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really brutal. And again, from a really experienced lifter. Watch her sink this one super deep, move for like a smoke show, and just be like, oh, damn. All right, Ardwa now, 162.5, taking a 10 kilogram jump from her opening attempt. We love the head-to-toe SBD. TSF Team Champs this year is sponsored by City Strength, Australia's exclusive distributor of SBD apparel. Big fans of the sport, big fans of TSF. We love their work. Thank you, City Strength.
We go back to the top of the group now for third attempt squats.
So Tink is the favourite in the 47 kilo class, but squat, not her biggest strength. So her two competitors, Jessica and Pam, both finished their squat on 105 kilos. Tink coming out now for 95 kilo third attempt, which tells you she's looking to, really take them down, primarily in the bench press, honestly.
Yeah.
She's got a big bench.
The other thing you don't, and I'm not sure, I'm not in the drawing room for the sim strength strategy, but if I knew Tink was good for more than what was posted yesterday, I would shave a bit off each of her lifts to make them all more conservative. So I don't know, but if she was good for 100, but we could afford to only do 95, we'd be doing 95.
Yeah, just build a safe total.
Yep.
Like, don't let anything go wrong.
Correct. Danny here, whose second attempt to us looks like a maximal effort. They have, oh no, sorry.
There's some confusion at the moment because Danny's lined up, but...
Yeah.
But, unless Tink's not taking a third? Tink's second was really hard. They might just be letting the timer run out.
Oh, that looks like what happened.
Yes, okay. So Tink Ann has opted not to take her third attempt squat. Pretty nice sportsmanship. To submit a card and simply not come out, it means that your competitors do get to have that full minute rest that they wouldn't get if you did just scrap your attempt. So, yeah, that was nicely played by Tink. All right, next up, Danny Biscotto coming out of SR Strength Collective. Coming out now for 120 kilos in the women's 57 kilo class. Jumping 5 kilos from her second attempt of 115. Not sure about that.
I was going to say, they definitely knew something we didn't, because what a comeback from her second attempt.
Yeah.
What
3
a
white lights,
comeback.
good lift. Yeah, no kidding. They definitely knew something we didn't know. Mandalay coming out for 120 kilos. Jumping 2.5 kilos on a squat is not common. Oftentimes, the fatigue you get from taking that third attempt that you know is at your max is not worth only 2.5 on the total. But in the Battle of Amanda today, every kilo is going to count. So I wouldn't have been surprised if this went either way. I wouldn't have been surprised if she didn't come out. I'm not surprised that she did come out.
No, well called, because again, if the plan is to push to Jordan's total, they're the exact lifts she needs to make up as much ground as she can.
3 white lights, good lift. That was an
Awesome.
excellent squat.
Yeah. Spot on.
She almost lost that. That was a fantastic grind. There was so much heart in that. All right, Tracy now coming out to reattempt 120 kilos. She did fail this on her second attempt on depth. Again, a very experienced lifter, so reasonably confident she should nail this.
Nice.
It's always a bit annoying when you come out and nail a third like that after failing it on your second. It's like that was awesome. Why couldn't I do that 5 minutes ago?
What did she miss her second on again?
Depth. Like, that was like
Yeah.
clear as day.
Yeah.
With kilos in the tank.
Competition day is a funny thing. You know, you nail your training squats, you nail everything, and then on comp day, for whatever reason, just
Like, I've never done this before.
Yep.
All right, Stephanie coming out now for 122.5 kilos. She has also only jumped 2.5 kilos from her second to her third. Some pretty close battles for points in this 57 kilo class. While that first place is, dare I say, locked in to Sophie Dobson. Second, third, fourth, probably all kind of close. That was nice. And like we said, these Premier Bracket teams, they are competing to hold their spot in the Premiers for 2026. The Premier Bracket status does carry a bit of clout, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So these second, third, fourth points, these are important.
Yeah.
These are really, really important points, and the coaches know that.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Twee coming out now. This is make or break now. Third attempt, 132.5 kilos. She does need to make this to stay in the competition. If she misses this, she will be out of the competition.
Yeah, look, it
That's
seemed
so
unquestionably
bittersweet,
good from
isn't
here.
it? That is so bittersweet. Excellent third attempt. She'll stay in the competition. Bittersweet. Relieved she's still in, but just capable of so much more than 132.5 kilos. That hurts.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
As we said, she's an extremely experienced lifter that wasn't on the bingo card for today.
All right, Constance Pendus is now coming out for 150 kilos. Constance, the favourite in the 63 kilo class. Also a previous best female lifter at TSF Team Champs 2023.
She's made it. What did you think of depth? Oh, good.
Yeah, I think good. Yeah, through out lats, good lift.
So she has consolidated a very, very strong lead.
Yeah. No one was expecting her to come out of squats with a 17.5 kilogram lead over Twee. That's a bit of an upset.
But in powerlifting, anything can really happen.
That's exactly right.
Still got lifts you have to make.
Right. Ardra now coming out for 170 kilos.
Got a feeling she's going to smoke this.
Yeah, me too. So again, Ardra in a really tight battle with Emily Kano, who competed yesterday. One of life's greatest joys for me is when a lifter starts celebrating halfway up, like when they know they've got it.
Do you remember when, this is a while ago, Pearson used to do it really, remember Pearson? He used to be like still in the hole. And be like, yep.
It's like that little bit of arrogance makes for good athletes, you know, like you gotta have it. You gotta like believe that in your heart you're the man. Yeah. So Apex Strength, who Ardwa is representing, they were third place last year. They have a strong team. Ardwa is the only lifter in their team that didn't compete last year. They've actually assembled 3 of the same 4. Ardwa's the only new face, so they are a really strong team. They are among the favourites this year. Yeah.
Overall, yep.
So again, it's like just locking those results in, building totals, not dropping points.
We're in the 74 kilo class now with Edgar, one of the co-owners of SR and coaches. Eddie's actually in a bodybuilding prep at the moment, so he's on the way down. He's usually high 80s. So competing at 74 will come with its challenges. When you're not used to that body weight, when you're, perhaps haven't maintained strength as well as you have. So I think load selection is especially important in a scenario like that.
All right, Victor coming out now for Crundle Crew, opening his account at 185 kilos. Victor is competing in the men's 74 kilo category. The men's 74s, we have 4 lifters competing today and 4 that competed yesterday. So of course, those results from yesterday are totally locked in.
Yeah.
And these guys now are going to be looking to try and chip those guys off.
So yesterday, Brian Ong posted his total, and that will be the one to beat. He posted a total of 657.5. I wouldn't say that's completely out of reach for some of these lifters. I'd be paying close attention to Frank Busqueta. And it'll be interesting to see what or how far Dean Antoniadis can push today as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank Busqueta, just a soft favourite in this category. Not a...
To be honest, I wasn't too sure, but I had a chat to him before. He's actually traditionally an 83 as well, and I said, well, how has your strength been? And he might actually be PBing his total. So that'll be really interesting to see.
That's cool. All right, Callan Beaton now with 190 kilos out of Melbourne Strength Culture. That moved. So Callan's competing in the men's 83 kilogram class. This is our most competitive category of the weekend with 10 lifters, I think. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 8 compete yesterday, we've got 3 today, 11 lifters in this category. The total to beat from yesterday, Alex Hayes of Process Powerlifting. So as we said before, Process Powerlifting did take out the day 1 challenges bracket, and they are certainly among the top contenders to take out the overall competition. They have got the lower hand, is that a word? They've got the lower hand, the disadvantage
might work a bit better.
of having their results already locked in, so that these guys competing today do have the numbers to take down.
Yeah,
so Alex Hayes sitting on 682.5.
John now in the 66 kilo class. There were 2 66s yesterday. John is the heavy favourite though to finish number 1 in this weight class.
Yeah, so Jeff Bolton was registered to compete in the 59s. He failed to make weight, which incurred a 2-point penalty for his team, Elevate for Performance, and he did compete in the 66s. That was actually really costly for Paragon. Paragon thinking that they would be fine to take the 6 points yesterday,
Correct.
4 points today in the competition, but instead Jet competing up took the win yesterday over Ashish, and that was really costly. So, but John Chan is the heavy favourite to take out the 66 kilo class, representing Elemental Strength Society, who were our 2nd place takers from 2024.
Back on the 83s for a second, someone to really look out for would be Aaron from ESS, as someone that could be challenging Alex's 682.5 total from yesterday.
Yeah, so that's a really key battle in this whole competition, yeah.
Yep.
Like, Process could take out the overall competition, but it does hinge on a lot of these little battles, yeah.
Yep.
All right, we have Dean now representing Melbourne Strength Culture. Competing in the 74 kilo class also.
Last one from there.
Frank Busqueta now coming out in the 74 kilo class. As Alex mentioned before, Frank is historically an 83 kilo lifter. He has cut down to the 74s and could be stronger than ever.
Yeah, so he did mention he's probably dropped 10 to 15 on squats, about maintained bench, but PB territory for dead. So yeah, I think we're going to see a really, really cool performance from Frank today.
Yeah, Frank competed in the Team Champs 2024 last year. His results were also another really important one, and he actually ended up failing his second and third deadlift. Yeah, it was a pretty intense fight. And I know he was really getting pushed for points.
Yeah.
All right, Rodney Pham now, representing Sim Strength, coached by Josh Sim.
It's probably another one to look out for, to be honest with you.
What have you got on Rodney?
I've watched one of Rodney's comps, and it may have been his last one or perhaps the one before, and all I remember thinking was there was heaps in the tank and it was already ridiculously strong. So I low-key think we might be surprised and very much impressed with what he does today.
Yeah, like maybe his nominated total is just like way less than what he's capable of.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it was, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So Rodney's only competed once before, which was in June of last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he adds, I don't want to give it a commentator's curse, but like 40 plus kilos. Like, it was ridiculous when I watched it. Here's Aaron now. The man we mentioned is probably trying to hunt down Alex Hayes' total from day one. Interesting that Alex Hayes is repping.
Strategic. There's got to be some like mind game in that, eh?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Just like staring your direct competition in the eye as he gives you the calls. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
shakes his
if
hand
you're a
at the end.
competitive man, that's like some great fuel. If you're someone that crumbles under pressure, that would destroy you. Just glaring in the eyes. That's mad. All right, second attempts now. Back to the top. We've got Victor coming out for 200 kilos. He's jumped 15 kilos from his opening attempt of 185. Completely successful first round of squats. We love to see that. So everyone has now registered a squat and remains in the competition. Pretty full house here already.
Yeah, and you know what? It is always ESS. ESS brings an army every time.
They do.
And
They really rally a
brief
team.
look in the crowd sort of shows that as well.
Is this Victor's first competition?
Very well, maybe.
There's something particularly horrifying, but so sick about making your platform debut at Team Champs. Like, look, mate, I know we've never tested you in this way before, but I reckon you're good for it. Like, what a vote of confidence from your coach. Right, Edgar coming out for a 200 kilo squat. He's taken a 20 kilogram jump from his opening attempt of 180. As I before, deep in a bodybuilding prep, so it's always a bit nerve-wracking competing when you're cutting weight because you don't really know too much about, what a toll it's taken on your strength. Like, you might be pleasantly surprised, or you may not be pleasantly surprised at what's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure he's quite well versed and he's gone about it the best way, but he probably wanted to go through a period of time where his nutrition's actually supported these goals, so he isn't dying halfway through this comp after being buried in fatigue of a bodybuilding comp prep. So yeah, I think it's quite an interesting story to follow today. But that lift was good.
All right, Callan Beaton now coming out for 205 kilos, taking a 15 kilogram jump from his opening attempt of 190.
.205, this might be the PB.
Yeah, it is. So Callan's only competed twice before. His previous competition best, 190. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That looked like a good squat to me, which would be a 15 kilogram competition best.
Yeah, wow.
Well, he's like absolutely certainly not near a favorite in the 83 kilo class. It's like when someone's nominated, totals are so much lower than what they're capable of. It does just kind of put a bit of a spanner in the placings.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why you can do, you know, as much scouting as you like, but at the end of the day, it's you got to react to whatever pans out on the day.
Exactly right. Okay, John Chan now, 207.5 kilos. Jumping up 10 kilos.
It's a really impressive squat for this. Yeah, yeah. I think soft knees there, so he got the replace call, meaning replace call means the refs weren't happy enough to give him the start call. I do believe I heard, yeah, soft knees there. Really hard to, okay, he's actually timed out, so it's disappointing. It's disappointing, but it probably won't change the standings in the weight class. It'll be interesting to see now what they do. Do they just retake 207? Do they take a bigger jump? It'll be interesting to see what ASS do here. Dean up next with 210 for his second. Dean's probably one of the OG strength culture lifters. He's been around the block.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Ooh. One red there.
Believe that was not being completely locked out.
Okay.
All right, Frank now coming out for 225. So Uplift Performance is the coaching team of Victor Liu. Victor Liu is actually in Germany coaching at the IPF World Championships. So he's got an assistant coach, Charles, in today, coaching the team.
Charles definitely a very, very good substitute for the day. He helped us out last year, actually. That one pretty hard for Frank, to be honest. I don't think he was expecting it to be that hard. It'll be interesting to see what they go for a third attempt here. But as we've seen a few times already this morning, sometimes they know things we don't know from the outside.
Rodney Pham now, 245 kilos. He's opted for a 10 kilogram jump.
Rodney's last best squat in competition was this.
It was a good 12 months ago.
Ooh.
Notably harder than his opener.
Yeah, a good lift, but yeah, it did look maybe there's another 5 kilos there.
Yeah. It's like funny positions to be in when your second attempt does move quite hard. It's like 5 kilogram jump. Oh, it's a lot of work for only 5 kilos on the total.
Yeah.
At these kind of loads. All right, Aaron Tran Huang now, coming out for 255 kilos. the best squat in the 83 kilogram class yesterday was Alex Hayes with 250 kilos. So Aaron's just popped a nice little 5 kilos on top of that with his second attempt.
Yeah, so I think the way that head-to-head pans out is I believe that Aaron has Alex on squats and on bench, but I don't think Aaron has registered a deadlift as high as Alex in the past.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it'll come down to, can Aaron do enough across his squat and bench so that...
He can be in reach when it comes time to deadlift.
Correct.
So Aaron competed last in November of last year, and his best deadlift was 270. Yeah, so I mean,
it's not... I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron pushed 280, to be honest, which honestly puts him in the strongest position.
I mean, he's a developing lifter. He's also 21 years old.
Yeah.
It's like he is in his prime. If there was ever a position to build on your total, it's being a 21-year-old man. All right, John Chan now, coming out for 207.5, which he did fail on his second attempt. He was timed out.
He was timed out. He had to replace the bar because of soft knees, so you bet these knees are about to be locked real hard.
Boy, are they some locked knees.
Yeah, good job coming back out there. And he even, good job to settle himself after he, forgot to do his wrist wraps, had to jump back off the platform, get back on. I think he's happy he just got through squats.
Yeah. Say the best athletes are the ones with the shortest memories. Like, fail an attempt, like, fail on something trivial, fail on something major, whatever it might be. It's like, push it out of your brain, come out for your next attempt and nail it. All right, Victor now coming out for 210 for Crundle Crew. Good catch there by the spotters. Edgar coming out now for 210 kilos for his third and final squat attempt.
So the last time Edgar actually competed at this body weight, his best ever squat was 200. That was?
In 2018.
Yeah, wow, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Really nice third there.
Yeah, so Edgar's best squat ever was in the 83 kilo class of 220.
So he's probably done quite a good job to maintain his strength, to be honest, within 10 kilos of that.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right, Callan Beaton now coming out for 210 in the 83 kilo class. Only a 5 kilo jump from his second to his third. I've said before, 5 kilo jump at these kind of loads. It's like, man, that's some hard work.
I think an all-time PB here up for grabs. You often find the lifters with lift executions like that are quite aggressive and abrupt do tend to have a steeper fall-off, drop-off with their...
You often see their second attempts and you're like, man, that was so quick. They've got so much in the tank, and like, only a couple of kilos more, it's game over. Alternatively, people that can absolutely grind an opener and they've got like 30 kilos left in the tank. All right, Dean coming out now for 215 kilos. Also only a 5 kilo jump from second to third. That second attempt was pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Really nice third.
Yeah, and probably not a kilo left in the tank. And
Yeah.
That was a great call. 3 right lights, good lift.
Frank coming out next. They are taking the 2.5 kilo jump, so they're going to make him work for it, but clearly they value that as important kilos to add to the total in the final standings of this weight class.
I wondered if he was actually going to come out for that. Alas, he has. Just really important kilos here. Really important kilos. Damn.
So he clips the rack walking out, and when you've got a maximal load on your back, those little 1%ers really can affect the final product. And I'm not saying that's the reason you missed it, but it definitely doesn't help as soon as you see something like that.
I can say too, it's like when the weight feels heavy on your back when you're walking out, like what that does to your brain.
Yeah.
It's like when you unrack the bar and it kind of like bounces on your back and it feels light. It's like, oh man, I'm on.
Yeah, yeah.
On the contrast, when you stumble a little bit, it's like, dear God, this is a lot of weight on my shoulders. All right, Rodney Pham, 250 kilos in the 83 kilo class. So before, the best squat taken yesterday in the 83 kilo class was Alex Hayes with 250. We're seeing 2 lifters today in the Premier bracket bypass that.
Did he beat
the rack command? So the referees say 2 red lights.
He may have lost balance at the top there. He wouldn't be someone to just walk it in for no reason. He may have fell forward a bit. Unfortunate miss there.
Bad way to lose. Bad way to lose kilos. So in the squat, there are 2 commands. You receive a squat command to tell you that you can commence the squat, and you receive a rack command when the referee is satisfied that you've completed the lift, which tells you that you can then rack the bar. Some lifters may forget and rack it early, or sometimes it is just that at the top of the lift, you've lost your balance and you do step, which is what I expect has happened there. Oh, there's been a misload?
There's been a misload.
Yes. There has been a misload. Meet director John Paul Kauke with eyes everywhere in the room.
How does he do that? How did he do that?
High functioning anxiety. All right, 262.5 kilos here for Aaron Schran. Again, this is a key battle of the day. These kilos are so important in his battle against Alex Hayes from day one. You should see this room. Everyone is standing for this. That was stunning. That was a beautiful third attempt squat.
It was so nice.
Beautiful. Wow. All right, that concludes the squats of this morning session. There will be a 10-minute break in lifting.
I've just looked at, sorry, I know we've got to go in a sec, but Aaron's best ever squat in competition before this was 247.5, so he's gone plus 15. So
in what, 7 months?
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's just become the heavy favourite to edge out Alex Hayes. It's whether or not he can just keep up this pace for the rest of the day.
And again, that's a huge upset for Process. Process Powerlifting Club are contenders for the whole event.
Yep.
Even having competed on day one. So yeah, if he just has created a lead that could be undeniable, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but that was shocking.
Yep.
All right, what's just happened? What have we got? Tink Ann concluded her squats on 90 kilos. She's still sitting pretty to take the 47 kilo class out.
Yep.
In the 52 kilo class, Amanda Lay cemented 120 kilos on her squat, which keep her in the running with Jordan Di Stefano.
Yeah, so
again, a key battle of the weekend.
Yeah, she's 15 behind on squat, opens 5 heavier on bench, and opens similarly to deadlift. So yeah, we'll keep notes on that one. I think that'll be an interesting.
Amanda's super in the race for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the women's 57 kilo class, we do have Sophie Dobson on a very clear lead, competing on day 1. However, we have got a pretty tight battle here, pretty much amongst all lifters for points. Yeah, there's really, really important points there for 57 kilo class, even though the first place might be undeniable.
Yeah, and as we said at the start of this stream, you know, these sorts of battles, the difference between 3 points or 2 points or 1 point is what will end up costing one of these teams their premier position.
Yeah, the point score system of Team Champs is pretty brutal. Yeah, it's really tight. All right, in the 63 kilo class, huge upset with Twee missing her first and second squats, finishing on only 132 kilos. She's in a really important battle with Constance Pandusis. Save for disaster. Those kilos were costly. Constance, we did not expect to see her finishing her squat account with a 17.5 kilo lead over Twee.
Yeah, no, we were probably projecting them to be relatively similar, maybe within 5 kilos. So, yeah, at the moment, Constance positioned to win there if she can keep up her current pace.
In the women's 84 kilo class, we saw Adwa squat 170 kilos. She's in a tight battle with Emily Kano from day 1, Emily from Avia Performance. All looking probably as we'd expected there. She performed really well. Emily is the strongest squatter. She squatted 192.5 kilos yesterday, but Adwa is the stronger bench presser and probably the stronger deadlifter.
Yeah, I think she's positioned well to beat Emily from day 1. I think that squat, Em's missed squat from day 1 might end up costing her, but based on where openers are and how people typically take jumps, I think the margin gets cut down to within probably 5 kilos at the end of bench, and then it's whether or not the deadlift can be enough.
Yeah. Moving on to the men's, we saw John Chan in the 66 kilo class. He did miss his second attempt squat just on timing out, but did come out now that on his third. 207.5, it does put him in the lead, which is where we would expect to see him against his 2 competitors from yesterday in Ashish and Jet. In the men's 74 class, got Brian Ong in a really, really convincing lead. Brian Ong competing yesterday with the wide boys.
Yeah, so Brian's held from yesterday 657.5.
He's a pretty clear favourite.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some pretty important battles here, but Brian probably untouchable in the 74s.
Yep, still important points up for grabs though. Jocelyn for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Really important battle in the men's 83s with Aaron Tran Huang from ESS going against Alex Hayes of Process Powerlifting Club. So Alex Hayes won the 83 kilo class yesterday with 682.5. Aaron Tran has outsquatted him by 12.5 kilos already today. In the men's 93 kilo class, we're not there yet.
No, we're not.
That's where we're at for the day. All right.
It's been a good start. I'm enjoying these groups.
Yeah, some really exciting battles. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes' time for the bench press portion of this afternoon session. Thank you for joining us.
All right, we're back, and I'm actually fired up. I actually felt like I started a bit cold there, but I'm comfortable. I'm a bit more myself now, and I'm ready to do some good calling.
The man's arrived. All right, we are ready for the bench press discipline. Starting us off is Danny Biscoccio of SR Strength Collective. We've got Beck Chambers of Paragon now in the chief referee position. Now, bench is a pretty technical lift. There is a lot for the referees to look out for. There's a lot for the lifters to get right.
It is. And I think bench is honestly slept on. I think it's completely underrated in a competitive sense. You know, people obviously due to the nature of the movement, it adds the least amount to one's total. However, it's probably the lift where we see probably the most missed third attempts. That is not backed by anything but my gut feeling of statistics. We often see a lot of reds in the third column of bench press.
No, I think you're right.
In key head-to-heads where, you know, 2.5 kilos really matter, coming into bench press, you need 3 from 3 no matter what.
Powerlifting works in 2.5 kilo increments. Oftentimes, particularly in these lower body weight women, a 2.5 kilo jump represents a really large percentage of their bench press. So jumping from, say, 55 to 57.5 kilos, jumping from 65 to 67.5 kilos, those 2.5, like, feels like tons. It's impossible.
Yep.
Like, you can make a weight fly, and then 2.5 kilos more absolutely pins you to the bench. So they can become really important points.
To be fair, I don't mind a bit more of an aggressive approach on a second attempt bench press because of that reason. So, you know, you typically write an attempt plan to set you up for potentially a range for a third attempt, maybe 2.5 to 5 kilos. But again, because there's so much of a difference between 2.5 kilos percentage-wise on a kid, for example, a bench press around 60 kilos, you know, I don't mind seeing heavier second attempts to really find out what you've got to make the most of it. Yeah. Rather than going, you know, all right, it's either a 2.5 or 5 kilo jump here, and you go 5 and miss it, but then find out that you've only had 2.5.
Exactly. I think, yeah. Again, particularly with these lower bodyweight women, it's like you almost want to be in that position where it's like your max is somewhere between this 2.5 kilo range. Let's load the top end of that range for the third attempt and see what happens.
Yes. Yep.
And then the worst case scenario is you've left no kilos on the platform because your second attempt was the maximum weight you could possibly move anyway.
Yep.
All right, we've got Tink Ann coming out now for 47 kilos, at the 47 kilo class, opening her account on 57.5 kilos. This is actually extraordinarily impressive women's bench press. She's opening her bench press with 10 kilos over her body weight.
That's extremely impressive. And compared to her two competitors from yesterday, she is now up 7.5 on bench, so we obviously see here she's going to make up a lot of the ground here on bench. Didn't have quite as strong of a squat as the competitors from yesterday, but I think, yeah, she'll make up some ground here and then look to seal it on her deadlift.
Tracy Keogh now coming out for 60 kilos on her opening bench press. So you'll hear that the bench press has 3 commands coming from the chief referee. The lifter will receive the start command when the referee is satisfied that they are in the correct starting position. They'll receive the press command when the bar is motionless on the chest. And they'll receive the rack command when the referee is satisfied that the lifter has completed the lift. She may have beat the press command, maybe anticipated that a little bit. Yeah, 3 red lights. I think that was for beating the press command. So as I just said, the lifter does have to wait until they receive the press command from the chief referee. Failure to follow those 3 commands from the chief referee will disqualify the lift. So yeah, as I said before, there's a lot going on in the bench press. People asleep on the bench press. There is a lot happening, and these kilos matter. While the percentage contribution from bench press to their total might be smaller, a kilo's a kilo.
A kilo's a kilo.
If you lose 5 kilos in the squat, lose 5 kilos in the bench press, all makes the same on the total.
And as we've said a few times already, every single placing is probably counting towards something today. So every kilo counts.
All right, Amanda Lay now coming out for 65 kilos. Again, in a really key battle with Jordan Di Stefano of Process Powerlifting. That is not how you want to open a move. I have seen a little bit of Amanda's training. I know she failed 70 a week out. That was probably still a lot harder than I would expect 65 to move. Yeah.
Yep.
And dare I say, any coach loading 65 as an opener was not expecting it to move like that.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, you should have a good enough idea in the warm-up room to understand whether or not you need to pull down your opener. Interesting that it's come out that heavy.
Yeah, interesting, absolutely. All right, Constance Pandusas now a pretty heavy favourite in the 63 kilo class, opening her bench on 72.5 kilos.
Real good quick improvisation there. It was a while before she got the start command. She realised it's probably soft elbows, did it intuitively, got the start command, and just confirmed that with head ref Beck there.
Again, so the chief referee will only issue the start command when they're satisfied the lifter is in the correct starting position with their elbows completely extended, butt on the bench, feet on the floor, all flat. If the lifter cannot meet the requirements for a satisfactory starting position within 5 seconds, the chief referee will ask them to replace the bar, costing them valuable time but also valuable energy in having to unrack these weights, bring it out over their face. So that was really good correction and something that you'll just see from an experienced lifter. A newer lifter might not know, might not have the intuition to correct something like that. This feels like it's taking a while. Perhaps I should change something about my position. So that was great from Constance.
Twee here with 75 kilos. Likely to edge out Deuce on bench press. Nice opener there. Sim Strength have done quite well in the past, haven't they?
Yes, they have. I think they were second place 2023.
That sounds familiar.
If I recall correctly, they did not podium last year, but they did perform well enough to retain their position in the Premier bracket, obviously. But yeah, have seen quite a bit of success at Team Champs. Oh, incorrect track
We've
high.
got a... Now, what happens with the stop clock here?
Depends on whose error it is. If the error of the incorrect rack height is an error of the squatting and loading team, of course, then the lifter should not be penalised and they'll receive their full 1 minute to perform the bench press. However, if the error is an error of the lifter or coach, then it will be on their time that the rack height is changed. She's got plenty of time. Lovely attempt. 100 kilos as an opening attempt for any woman is incredible. Good lift.
I've realised we've got YouTube comments.
Yes.
Well, one, but I'm just saying it's a feature.
Yeah.
Can we use that at all? Are we? Is it professional to say that we're happy to read out some quick shout outs if any support comes through the YouTube stream?
Yes, we're happy to engage with the chat.
There you go, okay.
Boy, are we showing an age difference here, Alex. Like, oh man. All right, Stephanie coming out now for her second attempt bench press, 60 kilos. We're back to the top. So everyone's on the board, sea of green. No, one failed attempt from Tracy, beating the press command.
Beating the press command. Easy fix up.
She'll be re-attempting the same weight. For now though, Stephanie, 60 kilos.
Oh.
Miss groove? Yeah, it looked heavy, but I do think that I just slipped out of the groove and that's what pinned her down.
First Miss Groove of the day, sponsored by Groove Lifting Club.
All right.
I've gone downhill, haven't I?
That descended. I thought you were going to peak. I do expect that they will reattempt that same weight on her third attempt.
And because of how technical the more technical someone's setup tends to be, yeah, the more prone you are to a misgroove. And missing the sweet spot and ultimately missing the lift.
Yeah. It's like obviously in powerlifting, you do want to optimize your technique for efficiency, but in doing so, your technique does become, or your performance does become heavily hinged on the meticulousness of your technique.
Yep, yep.
All right, Danny Biscotto now, 60 kilos. The standard of lifting today is extremely high. Like every single woman in this group is benching comfortably over body weight. That's an excellent second attempt. 2 white lats, good lift. See, I think that was a perfect coaching approach, like what you said, right? Jump 5 kilos from first to second.
Yep, yep.
I will expect they'll load 62.5 now for their third. And then whether you get it or not, you've left no kilos on the table. You've wasted nothing.
Correct.
All right, this is Tracy now. Tracy did miss her opening attempt on beating the press command. It was a very, very good bench press, so I'm pretty confident she can come out and nail this as long as she is patient and waits for her instructions. Here we go, you got some comments. Deli, come on, brother. Shameless plug.
What do we got, Deli?
I didn't say it.
Let's
Hello,
go
Brian,
Victor May.
on fantastic lifting yesterday. Would you ever rebrand to Miss Groove?
I was thinking of doing some merch with Miss Groove on it.
I'd actually get into that, yeah. All right, Tracy is really using her clock here. She's got 20 seconds left to receive her start command. Should be plenty, as long as she nails
The first one
this.
did move fine, apart from the cold, didn't it?
Yes. Wait.
Sometimes you will see, lifters, well, rather attempts going higher for that second, despite missing the first, if it was an error that wasn't strength related.
Yeah.
And that it's something that your comfortable lifter can rectify for the second. So I really could have seen that one going either way for their second attempt selection. Now they've got the probably the dilemma of how far do they push their third. Obviously, they probably expected to go 65 maybe for their second, open up maybe 67. So now they're like, all right, do we split the difference? Do we go straight to what we would have planned for a third? It'll be interesting to see what they decide.
Yeah. They've submitted 65.
There you go.
That's what I'd do.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Tink, 60 kilos, just jumping 2.5 from her opening attempt to 7.5. That was a pretty sensible coaching decision. Nice. I don't think that was that much harder than her opening attempt. It was her down 2 white lights, good lift.
I love the different camera angles of this stream. I really love it. And I really love the one where it's the view sort of zoomed in on the, wait, is that on? Okay, yeah, this one. I love it. It's so, like it, it's got the focus and it's cool. Then you see the back room as well. I love this live stream.
Yeah, big shout out to Lift Heavy Media for the stunning live stream of the Strength Fortress Team Champs. All right, Amanda Lay coming out for 67.5 kilos. Her opening attempt at 65 was hard. I don't know what happened there, but I am really interested to see how this moves.
I can see this going anyway.
Yeah, me too. She will be
Bit too heavy today.
unhappy about that. Yeah, I know she was feeling a lot of pressure today. A little bit less pressure because there was that late change in the uplift team, which did cost the team 2 points. Had it not been for that change, Amanda's result today was critical for that team. So I think she will be feeling a little bit less pressure because there has already been this kind of knock to the team point score. But even so, her battle is really important.
I was going to say, arguably, her result might even be more important now to maintain premier status.
Yeah, true, true. Rather than being the contender for the top dollar prize. It's actually to hold their position. No, you're completely correct.
Constance here with 77.5. Trying to set up 80 today.
Has she benched 80 in competition before?
Yes. That moved really well.
She should be just fine for 80 today.
Yeah, well, I think they're hard committed to 80. I was having a chat to her before.
Twee now of some strength coming out for 80 kilos on her second attempt. Her Twee did not have a great start today on her squats, missing both her opening and her second attempt, which has put her, pretty far behind Constance as her direct competitor. So, she'll be looking to build some kilos throughout the day now. So she should take a pretty, I think her worst case scenario, she should take a pretty comfortable second place. The third competitor in the 63 kilo class is Fiona Wu from J1. That was a lovely bench press. Fiona Wu totaled 357.5 yesterday. I think Twee, even with a bumpy start, should, comfortably take that down. So she was in a battle for first place. She's still in the battle for first place. Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do think her worst case scenario is that she takes second.
Yeah.
With first place taking 6 points, second place taking 4. Adwa now coming out for 105 kilos. This is a huge bench press. So Adwa's direct competitor was Emily Kano, competed yesterday. She squatted 192, Adwa registered 170. Adwa's got a much bigger bench press. Emily finished on 90, Adwa now for 105.
That was nice.
Nice. So she was 22 and a half behind on the squats. She's now 15 and a half ahead on the bench press. So there's only 7.5 between them now with her, still with one bench press to come. What do you reckon they'll load for a third?
I think that they will, I think they're good for 110, but I feel like they'll lock in 107.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, that was a great bench press. Did she have 5 kilos left in the tank? I don't know. And yeah, that battle's really important. It's really going to come down to the deadlift. So any kilos that Adwa can add to her bench press is kilos she doesn't have to pick up in the deadlift. So building a total there becomes really important. All right, Stephanie now coming out for 60 kilos. Adwa has locked in 107.5 for her third attempt. All right, Stephanie failed 60 kilos on her second attempt. Whoa. She wanted that.
Yeah. One thing you'll notice us sort of indirectly reference is how much more we think a lifter might have. And the reason I guess we can take a decent guess at it is for a couple of reasons. One, someone's attempts is sort of telling to what they might end up on. So a jump from first to second attempt is extremely rarely exceeded from second to third. And it's usually a smaller jump from second to third. The other thing you'll notice is, especially for more experienced lifters whose technique's quite consistent, you'll see a pretty linear drop-off in repetition speed, where obviously as the load gets heavier, the lifts will become slower. We'll just watch Danny's third bench for a second. 62.5 kilos.
Wow.
Great run.
That was a fantastic run.
Continuing on from the rep speed. So it should be rather predictable, how much more someone might have. But what becomes interesting is that repetition velocity at a certain percentage of a 1 rep max is very individualized, meaning you can have one person who at their 1 RM can grind a rep for 5 seconds, whereas you can have another person whose 1 RM might look like they have heaps in the tank, but they really don't. Tink, unlucky with her third attempt there, but that one probably fits the brief with that, I guess, attempt strategy we've been referencing a couple of times, where in bench presses are around this weight, try and really make the most of your second attempt. Definitely get it, but push it quite hard, and that way, if there is anything left within that next 2.5 kilos, have a crack, and if it's there, it's there.
Yeah,
If it's
she's
not,
left nothing on the table.
That's right.
Yeah, there's nothing else there. All right, Tracy Kira now coming out to 65 kilos. So Tracy did fail her opening attempt at 60 kilos because she beat the press command. She retook that on her second attempt, made light work of it, and we were speculating what would she do.
Yeah,
We anticipate that her attempt plan was probably something like 60, 65, 67 and a half. It's a very big gamble to jump 7.5 kilos on a bench press at this body weight. So we speculated they closed the gap and load 65. So let's see. That's hard. That's really hard. So Tracy only registering one successful bench press attempt at 60 kilos. That's disappointing. That's really disappointing.
Amanda is, or I don't think Amanda's coming out for this one.
I'm just going back to Tracy for a moment. So these are pretty important points coming from Tracy. So Tracy is representing Stronghold Ballarat. She was a late call-up, actually. She was a late substitute. She only competed 3 to 4 weeks ago at Mega Nationals. Stronghold were promoted from the Challengers bracket last year into the Premier. So this is their first year in the Premier bracket. This battle in the 57 kilo class is kind of close, all the way from second to fifth, and those points are really important. So yeah, it's an important battle that Tracy's in, and those kilos are important. Amanda Lay does appear to not be coming out for this third attempt bench press. Her opener was hard. She failed her second attempt on strength. This is honestly just really good competitor etiquette to load the bar anyway and let it time out. It means that your competitors do get that 4-minute rest that they wouldn't get if you did scrap your attempt. So this is honestly just really nice etiquette. I mean, it's not so enjoyable for spectators just looking at a loaded bar for a minute. However, like as far as sportsmanship goes, it's like, this is the way to go. All right, that time has run out. Now, the spotter loaders will prepare the bar now for Twee to come out for 82.5 for her third attempt bench press. So again, that strategy we've spoken about before, locking in your second, load 2.5 more for your third, and see what happens. Her second attempt was good.
Yeah.
It was like, you can tell there was effort there. It wasn't an easy second attempt, but it was also a very convincing second attempt. This room is chockers.
Yeah.
We are at the Strength Fortress in Maidstone here in Melbourne's Inner West. We are a strength and powerlifting club, catering for the total beginner through to the competitive powerlifter. We're very grateful for the Strength Fortress for hosting this great event, aren't we, Alex?
Oh, yes.
Right, 82.5 now for Twee. Dare I say, stunning attempt selection. Oh, 2 reds, no lift. For hips coming off the bench. So you do have to maintain your hips in contact with the bench throughout the whole lift. In powerlifting, we do use our legs a lot to create stability and strength in the bench press, and sometimes that leg drive will be so much that your hips do come off. That's unfortunate. That was otherwise really nice, but not where it counted, unfortunately. All right, Constance now, same bar load, 82.5 kilos. 80 was awesome. No, 77.5 was awesome. She was coming out today for 80, but I did expect that maybe they would load 82.5 because that 77.5, dare I say, exceeded expectations. Oh, unlucky. Yeah. So this happened on her first attempt. She didn't get her elbows locked, but did correct it herself. Chief referee Beck Chambers has asked her to replace the bar. She does have 20 seconds remaining on the clock. There we go.
So, like I was hinting at with the squats earlier today, as soon as a little thing goes wrong at a maximal weight, it can really, really cost you. We both thought she probably had the strength for this weight coming into it, based on how the 77 moved, but I think that replaced, you know, it fatigues you that little bit more, holding the bar for, you know, the 10 seconds, whatever it was.
When 82.5 is your maximum strength and you have to unrack it, pull it out of your face twice and hold it there for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The first time, maybe another 3 seconds the second time. Like, no doubt that's costly.
Yeah, probably. That's
really unlucky. If it was 80 kilos, maybe she would have been fine. Does close the gap between her and Twee now. Okay, odd one out. 107.5. 105, as we speculated, was very good, but we didn't think she had 5 kilos left in the tank. Let's see how this goes. Ooh.
I don't think she executed that one how she could have.
No. Okay, unlucky.
105 still a very useful bench in constructing a total for first place here.
Yeah. And again, not so costly. It's only 2.5 kilos. Yeah, she's still absolutely in contention against her competitor, Emily Kano. Okay, we're moving on to the men now. John Chan coming out for an opening attempt bench press of 107.5 in the men's 66 kilo class.
John, look, squats didn't go to plan for John. Missed his second on timing out. Third he got, but yeah, definitely, I'm sure he was aiming to get a bit more than his 207 he ended with. Like we said, won't really affect his place in the weight class. He is still heavy favourite as long as he makes his openers to win the weight class. It'd be interesting to know what his goals of the comp are from this point on, whether he's going for any PBs or what he's trying to get out of the day. Really high calibre of lifters, especially on day 2 this time around. You know, there's a lot of lifters here that do aim or are competing nationally as well. So you are watching really, really high level lifters, which is probably what we'd expect on the premier day. Dean, for example, a previous podium at USAPL Nationals only a couple of years ago, I believe. So yeah, a lot of history for a lot of these lifters. There are some new lifters in the mix, but it's definitely a treat watching a lot of these guys lift.
Absolutely. Very convincing opening attempt there for Dean. Right, Edgar coming out now for 125 kilos. Edgar lifting for SR Strength Collective. Strength and Power Fusion located in Altona, Melbourne's western suburbs.
Really nice opener. Another thing we're indirectly hinting at is, you know, often a good opener is smooth, there's no real sticking point, and it's an attempt that sets up a nice second and third. We don't really expect to see hard openers. We usually would expect something's gone wrong to see an opener that looks like it's a battle.
Absolutely. It's like your opening attempt does want to be heavy enough that it does position you to take the jumps you want to your second and third attempts. However, if there's any struggle in an opener, it's typically cause for concern. All right, Frank now, 130. That's how you want to open the door.
Absolutely.
Victor now coming out for 135 kilos. Victor lifting for the Crundle crew, coached by Matt Crundle.
Nice.
A couple of nods around the room, that kind of like cold lip, like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Victor knows how to bench press.
A few more comments on the YouTube stream. You've got this, Frank. Let's go, Ajwa. Get it done, Trace. Let's go, Victor May. Let's go, Danny.
It says that's my goat. All right, Callan Beaton now out of Melbourne Strength Culture. Located in Moorabbin in Melbourne's eastern suburbs.
Ooh. Yeah, nice.
I often see this in some like heavy men's bench press where they seem to get the shakes.
Yeah, yeah.
When they unrack the bar and have the bar in their hands. And like, outside looking in, it can look a bit like, oh God, oh God, oh God. Like, man, is this too heavy? And then they make such light work of it. It's just like involuntary muscle twitching.
Yeah, and you ask them and you're like, yeah, no, I didn't feel heavy in my hands. It's just, yeah, it's involuntary.
Yeah, as a spectator, you can kind of look at it like, what is happening?
Yeah, even my
here? Like, is this guy going to be all right?
Yeah.
But no. It's like almost got no correlation with the strength. All right, Rodney Pham, 140 kilos in the 83 kilo class. Rodney battling it out for the top position against Alex Hayes. Yeah, boy, is this 83 kilogram class competitive.
So Rodney currently forecasted for 4th. That would be behind, obviously, Alex Hayes, Aaron, as well as... maybe Emmanuel? The forecast only does take into consideration the the openers,
Yeah, sure.
of the uncompleted lifts.
Yeah. Rodney's, the weaker deadlifter for sure. Yeah, definitely a weaker deadlifter, but boy, is he up there on subtotal. Completed his squat account on 245 kilos, only 5 kilos behind Alex Hayes' 250. And opening a 140. Right, Aaron now, 155. Wow.
Really nice.
It was a fantastic opening attempt. So
Aaron's best...
building a considerable lead here.
Yeah, best previous benching competition at 155. What was that, 145?
That was 155.
No. Yeah.
Imagine opening on your best ever bench press.
I think we're going to see a real... look, I have to check everyone else, but I'd be very interested to see if Aaron's in the running for best overall male.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be in the mix. He's building a pretty considerable lead over Alex Hayes.
I think it's his to lose at this point.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Okay, John Chan, 112.5 for his second attempt bench press, electing to jump 5 kilos from his opening attempt of 107.5.
Dean up next, 7.5 kilo jump to his second of 125.
So Dean's in a very competitive weight class. Got 8 lifters competing in this men's 74 kilo class. There has been some early speculation. This is very inside.
Oh.
Very inside. Early speculation that there could be a change to the scoring system next year to reward competing in these heavily stacked classes.
Interesting.
Early discussions.
Early discussions.
Among management.
Yep.
Early discussions, because we do see these categories, like these middleweight men's categories, 73s and 74s and 83s. These are dense categories.
Yep. Yep.
From 4th place onwards, you're scoring the same 1 point.
Yep.
So if you're in a category of 8 or 11 lifters, there are 5 or, quick maths, 8 lifters taking home the same point score, regardless of placing.
Yep. Yep.
It's a pretty brutal scoring system in that way.
Look, the format of this competition and the scoring and quickly Eddie here with 132.5. It rewards clubs with deep rosters.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you know the smaller clubs, probably a lot of people on day one. The heavier weight classes, the more heavily populated weight classes are that because they represent, I guess, statistically the majority of where people's body weight lies. That's why, you know, the middle weights in both sort of classes are the most popular. And, you know, especially most people sort of have lifters in those weight classes, hence why they're so deep. It's the rosters that can fill out those sort of like less populated weight classes who get a bit of an edge because they can be less competitive.
Exactly correct. Exactly correct. Can be much easier to take points in sort of say the 47 kilo women's class or the 120 kilo plus men's class, for example. Lovely second attempt there from Frank with 135 kilos. Yeah, so these points in these middle fields, that you have to fight for them so hard. So hard. All right, Callan beaten now with 140 kilos on his second attempt, representing Melbourne Strength Culture. Melbourne, a lot of teams actually fielding an entirely new team from last year. Constance still in from Melbourne Strength Culture, but otherwise three new lifters.
Yep. Yep.
ESS fielding an entirely new team this year. I did speak to head coach Michael Porsovigan of ESS, and he said that was deliberate. He wants to, permit the lifters from his club to have an opportunity to represent the club at the team champs, knowing it is like quite an honour to be selected as, like, say, the top 4 lifters of your club, or being selected as one of 4 representatives. He does want to like share that around the club. ESS have seen huge success at the team champs in recent years. With that, he said, like, we have a good reputation at this competition, and I think that we'll hold on to that even if we didn't take the win. So with that in mind, he said, I want to reward the lifters at the club that are working hard and give them an opportunity to represent us. So
you mentioned you mentioned that all 4 lifters today are coming back from injury, and he almost used it, team champs, as an incentive for them to make sure they did their rehab.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's just it, right? It's like, you can use team champs as a tool within your club for many things. I love that. It's like it can be easy when you are coming back from an injury to say, oh no, I won't put my name down for comp. I don't know how my rehab's going to go. It's like your rehab's going to go a lot better if you lock yourself in. All right, Victor now, 142.5 kilos, jumping 7.5 from his opening attempt. Victor is, a bit of a mystery lifter today. We do believe this is his first competition. We have absolutely no data on him, which can make for, a pretty bit of a wild card type situation where his competitors don't really know what they're up against. I don't know how much he's shared about his training on social media, if maybe people are getting a bit of an insight there, but otherwise, he's got a lot of mystery about him, which is not something you want in a competitor, Alex.
No. Very ominous.
Very ominous. All right, Rodney Pham. 150 kilos at 83. Rodney forecast in 3rd place now. Good. Slowing down. How many kilos do you reckon he's got left in the tank?
Ooh, should have been focusing more. 5? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they loaded 2.5 more.
I was about to say, it's
But
funny, you've
we're
seen
slowing
a lot of these lifters when the start call hasn't come as quickly as they anticipated. You see a little straightening of the elbows,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
honestly, like, he would have probably got that anyway. I think a lot of these lifters just forget how long it takes to get that start call, because no one really simulates that much of a weight in training. It's my belief. It's my belief.
Yeah. Saying you're training double the length of all of your commands.
Yep.
For those of you watching at home. All right, Aaron, 160 kilos on his 2nd attempt bench press. Only electing a 5 kilo jump from his opening attempt. Right. You did say before you do feel that this is his to lose now. It's like he has built a really comfortable lead over Alex Hayes. And at this point, he might be taking maybe a slightly more conservative approach to just say, like, let's just not lose it.
Yep.
Like, I think I've built enough of a lead. I think this can be mine, save for disaster. So let's not, yeah, let's not let disaster happen.
Really is as simple as making all your lifts, isn't it? John here with 117.5 for his 3rd bench press. Again, has a commanding lead in the 66s. As long as he gets his deadlift opener, he is locking in the 1st place in his weight class.
Excellent 3rd attempt bench press there, John. Yeah, John, the heavy favourite in the
237
kilo class.
237 for an opening deadlift is massive.
That's monstrous.
That rivals some of the 74s and 83s.
Yeah. Like on subtotals, he's looking to be pretty close to Jet Bolton. However, based on projections with his opening attempt of deadlift just being so much heavier, he should wrap this up. It would be a big, big upset if he did not. All right, Dean now, only a 2.5 kilo jump. 127.5, again, not that common. However, that said, it's like there's not so much to lose on bench press. While fatiguing, it's nowhere near as fatiguing as a 3rd attempt third attempt squat.
Not this way.
Not too big. Edgar now also taking a 2.5 kilo jump to 135 for his 3rd attempt bench press. So we've got 2 sessions of lifting up today. The competition will close up tonight. So we've got our final heavyweight lifters competing from, heavyweight men and the 69 kilo women competing from 4 p.m. this afternoon. There are a lot of big competitions taking place this afternoon. The ultimate standings of the competition are really going to be decided on some final deadlifts.
And I think a lot of the apex lifters who, are potentially determining the final standings are in that session too.
Too heavy, but left nothing there. He walks away with 132.5 kilos. Yeah, no, you're completely correct about Apex. They've only got Ardwa competing in this session.
That's right, yeah.
And they've got 3 lifters competing in the afternoon session. So while we do have a live team scoreboard, if you haven't got that, you should be able to find that in the YouTube notes. But if not, certainly in the link tree of the TSF Team Champs on Instagram. The live team scoreboard can be a bit deceiving because you see, you know, a team like Apex, which will be looking like they're really sitting at the back of the pack when this session concludes. You know, they'll only have maybe 6 points, at max 6 points, assuming Ardwa can wrap this up, at least 4 points. You know, it looks like they're like horribly behind.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, yeah, they're gonna have 3 lifters this afternoon, 2 big boys and Lota. Looking to really snatch some points up. Excellent. Third attempt there by Frank at 140. Excellent. Yeah, stunning. Callan beaten now, 142.5 kilos, also taking a 2.5 kilo jump. Really eaten my words on saying it's not that common, am I? Wow. It's a nice looking third attempt. 3 white lights from the referees. Victor coming out now for Crandall Crew, 145 kilo third attempt.
Massive bench at 74. Really nice third.
Lovely. We've got 2 lifters left to go of this bench press portion of today's lifting. 152.5 here for Rodney Pham. This is big. Big bench. I think Rodney's really going to put some bit of a spanner in the work of some of the placings here today. Forecasted third currently. Too heavy, but hasn't left any kilos on the table. He's sealed his second attempt with 150 kilos.
Aaron just extended his bench by 2.5 kilos here to lock in what will be a really commanding subtotal heading into deadlifts.
Yeah, this is a hefty subtotal. Good lift. Yeah, that is a startling subtotal. It's a very good subtotal. Yeah, definitely his to lose at this point. His opening attempt deadlift is slightly heavier than Alex Hayes. Alex Hayes opened his deadlift account at 252.5 kilos, but he does take big jumps. He concluded his deadlifts at 290.
So we can actually figure out what we need at this point. Who led in with the lights on?
Alex just doing some quick maths on what Aaron will need to take the win in the 83 kilo class. So that concludes the bench press portion of this session. We'll be taking a 10-minute break before we come back for deadlifts. A lot of these competitions are really going to come down to the deadlifts. There's a lot of lifters here that have, very good subtotals, but perhaps weaker deadlifts, or who, right now on the scoreboard look like they're sort of sitting behind the pack, but actually have massive deadlifts that can really bring them home. So there's a lot to still happen here. We will see, the results concluded of all the women's class, except for the 69 kilo class, and then the men's 66, 74, and 83. So at the conclusion of this session, we will see a huge update to the team's scoreboard. The teams competing today are not only gaining points, but they will also be taking points from the teams that competed yesterday. So someone, for example, like Alex Hayes, who took 6 points in the 83 kilo class yesterday, if he does lose to Aaron today, his points will come down to 4, while Aaron will take the 6. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes for deadlifts.
Check. All right. We are about to begin deadlifts. So it'd be good to see some of these results finalised.
Yeah. Wait, go up.
I did start talking and then stopped, so this isn't random. Yeah, I was just saying that deadlifts are about to start. The key sort of matchups we outlaid at the start of the session probably didn't come down to the wire like we thought they would. But hey, anything can happen. It's powerlifting. You have to get at least one of these deadlifts to register a total. And who knows, maybe sometimes people get overconfident and shoot too high, and we can see slip-ups even when people have commanding leads. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited to see what people are capable of here.
Right, kicking us off, we've got Danny Biscoccio out of SR Strength Collective with 112.5 kilos. Danny competing in the 57 kilo class, forecast in the 5th. Very convincing. Danny's had a great day so far. She was 6 from 6 coming into the deadlifts. Next up, we've got Tink Ann. Tink opening on 117.5 in the women's 47 kilo class. Tink, pretty hot favourite.
Yeah, so Tink.
Sorry,
yeah, Tink has to force the result here. She was coming in lower subtotal than her competitors from yesterday, but we do know she has the bigger deadlift, so I think she's looking to nail it just exactly what she needs on a third to try and get that win. I'll try to figure out what that is.
Next up, we have Stephanie coming out for 130 kilos, also in the women's 57 kilo class.
Yeah, so Tink's second attempt is 127.5. Looks like they go 2 10-kilo jumps to get 137.5, which is exactly what they need to win the 47s.
Beautiful. Is that in reach for Tink? Do you know much about her lifting?
Look. Let's have a quick look.
Best total's 295. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, she is the favourite. Should be comfortably in reach, but she's still got to do it.
Yeah.
A nice 130 there for Stephanie.
And she didn't take her third squat, which usually suggests that, yeah, there's a bit more strategy to the game plan.
Right, now Tracy Keogh opening her deadlift account with 132.5 kilos. Tracy's had a pretty rough day. She went 2 from 3 on her squats, 1 from 3 on her bench press. A lot of it technicalities.
No dramas there, though.
Deadlift's probably the least technical of the lift. Lifters only have 1 command to receive from the chief referee, being the down command, which they'll receive when the chief referee is satisfied they have completed the lift. There's probably, yeah, slightly fewer things that can go wrong. Dare I say, slightly more room for error in execution.
Amanda here opening with 137.5. Your scoreboard might read something differently at the moment, but this is Amanda lifting.
So Amanda, yeah, in a really tight battle with Jordan Di Stefano. Amanda had quite a good showing in the squats. Unfortunately, went 1 from 3 in the bench press, failing her second attempt, which is 7.5 kilos. Probably suggesting she left something from like 2.5 to 5 kilos on the table. I think, I don't want to say it was super costly. I say Jordan was probably a soft favourite, but she would certainly have needed that. Not certainly, I think she needed that to really be in the competition with Jordan. She's got a really comfortable lead on 3rd and 4th place. So, yeah, at worst, she takes 2nd here, which I think might be what we expect.
Yeah, she'd need a deadlift 170, which is, I don't think that's part of their plan today.
No, so she might just be, yeah, looking maybe some PB performances here. Seal the day with a nice deadlift showing. All right, we've got Twee now coming out for 152.5 kilos. Twee had a really rough start to the day with her squats, missing her 1st and 2nd attempts, and then nailing it on her 3rd. She was in a really tight battle with Constance Pandusis, not so much now. Constance with, yeah, probably a pretty unclosable lead.
15 kilos, I think.
Yeah, Constance is the better deadlifter. She is having a pretty good day. Yeah, not impossible, but unlikely.
Yeah, we'd have to see a big slip up from Constance.
All right, Constance now, 162.5 in the 63 kilo class. She's a very good deadlifter. Constance, 5 from 6 so far, just failing the 3rd attempt bench press on 82.5 kilos. Is that about how you'd expect 162.5 to move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Alright, so Ad was hunting down Emily Kano. Emily Kano finished the day yesterday on 482.5, which included a 200 kilo deadlift. Adwa is absolutely in this race. Currently projected 2nd, but that's only taking into account her opening attempt deadlift, which she moved. That was a fantastic deadlift.
So I believe Aja will need 210 for a 3rd deadlift to beat M from day 1.
It's not unreasonable.
No, not with the 185 opener. And I dare say that's definitely been loaded no matter what.
Yeah. Again, it's a team sport, like it's a team event. You're not here for individual glory. It's to build the team total. So in those kind of positions where your back's against the wall, where perhaps if it was an individual competition, you might have just loaded something more conservative, seal a PB, build a total, go 9 from 9, do something you're proud of. In this particular event where you're battling for the team, it's like, I think you're going to load it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to like, Hail Mary, see what happens, but you're going to load it. Right, Danny now, 122.5. Smooth as.
It is. You do have an advantage as well. This is where the advantage, I think, is actually probably the most, has given a team the biggest advantage here in this head-to-head in the 84s, because when you know exactly what you need, and let's say here she knows she needs that 210 3rd attempt deadlift, you can pre-plan bigger jumps and try and make that jump to that, you know, predetermined load 210 as efficient as possible. Try and conserve energy and give yourself the best chance of getting it.
Tink Ann now with 127.5 kilos in the women's 47 kilo class.
So a reminder, she needs 137.5 to win, which is interesting information, which is very interesting information here. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that it sort of looks like there is another 10 kilos, but that is to get to 1st. Do they try and just get 2nd and beat out
Pam
Pam?
McIntyre of the Strength Fortress. She's
Okay, I
already
want to
done that.
correct. Yeah, sorry. She actually did that with that attempt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here I think they're loading the 137 no matter what.
They're
Just
going to
seeing
load it, exactly what I just said. It's like, you're here for the team, so do I think the team has 10 kilos in the tank? Like, in any other competition setting, I don't think I'd load it.
Yeah.
But today,
correct.
it's like when a lift has their back against the wall, some people just thrive under pressure.
Yep.
If they know that their team needs 10 kilos, sometimes they just muster.
Oh, it's so
from
fun
the
to
depth
see.
of their soul, they find 10 kilos.
It's sort of like the most fun thing to, fun attempt
the
to have a
best,
crack at.
yeah.
It's like, hey, there's no pressure. See what you can do. Like,
Like, no one thought you could do it until 30 seconds ago, where there's a maybe 30% chance, and boy, do we want to see it. And I love those moments because everyone in the room wants you to get it.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
your direct rival, they want you to get it, man. Like, that's the best part of the sport.
And now the bar is loaded. Bar is loaded for Tracy. Let's go.
142.5 kilos here now for Tracy Keogh. Your scoreboard might read differently. There's 142.5. Really nice second attempt deadlift there. Okay. Bar is being prepared now for Amanda Lee to come out for 147.5 kilos.
so Amanda locking in the second place position in the women's 52 kilo class.
Yeah, so at the start of the day, we really thought we might have seen Amanda battling it out with Jordan DiStefano of Process Powerlifting Club for that first place position. We've now established unlikely. However, it does look like she's pretty convincingly, locked in this second place position. It's a good second attempt. How many kilos do you reckon she's got left?
You always ask me that when I'm not like fully soaked into it. What's your take?
So now, 5, 7.5?
Yep, yep.
Keeping you on your toes, Alex.
Bar is loaded. It's 162.5 bar is loaded for Tweed.
162.5 for Tweez. Second deadlift. At the end of the day, this battle isn't dead yet. Twee has to make these to stay in the running. Moved pretty well.
Yeah, it's nice to Yeah, actually, the battle's not over. She has locked in second place over yesterday Fiona Wu from Melbourne University Powerlifting Club. She's not out of this race. She's not a favourite, but she's not out of it.
No, look, if Constance makes this next deadlift, I think it's
Probably sealed the deal.
Sealed and delivered.
Dare I say that is our 63 kilogram women's champion? Yeah, 3 white lights there for Constance. Yeah, she's got that wrapped up and she can really load wherever she wants for a third attempt now. It's like she's locked in that first place. She's locked in the full 6 points for Melbourne Strength Culture. And at this point, what do you want, Constance? What do you want to pull?
Yeah, she wants 180.
Yeah, all right, load 180.
She was in a really similar situation last year, actually. She had a head-to-head with Jess Liu, where her third attempt was just a 2.5 kilo jump. So I
think she's finally having that comp where she gets to really push it.
Nice. 197.5 for Alba.
They're definitely setting up that 210, as we said.
Yeah.
That moved well. I think she's looking good, hit 210, but we shall see.
Yeah, she's like absolutely locked in second place there. Almost by 100 kilos over Paragon's Nikita. Yeah, I think we'll see them load 210. Again, it's a team competition. She didn't come here to take second place to Emily Kano. She came here to took first.
Yeah.
All right. We're into our third attempt deadlifts now, so this is where, yeah, results will be locked in. This is Danny Biscoccio coming out for 130 kilos in the women's 57 class. Currently in 5th place. This will maintain her in 5th position. Nice deadlift.
Definite change in atmosphere for these third attempts.
And this room is nuts.
Yeah, packed house here at the Strength Fortress. Support from all the clubs filling out the room.
All right, we've got Tink Ann coming out now.
So they've gone the 130.
Yeah,
so just
she's
2.5
taking second place here.
So maybe, look, this is actually probably a surprise result from what we forecasted. But again, as we said, we can forecast all we want. Oh,
Wow.
I think she's done it. I think she's done it. Oh, incredible grind to finish out the day. Absolutely
Awesome.
got as much as she could there.
So that does conclude that Jessica Arambe of Melbourne University Powerlifting Club holds first place in the women's 47 kilo class. Tink Ann will take an important 4 points for sim strength, knocking off Pam Alcantara of the Strength Fortress into third. All right, the bar is loaded now for Tracy Keogh, 150 kilos. Let me remind you that Tracy Keogh is a Masters 3 lifter. Tracy is in her 60s, about to pull 150 kilos off the floor.
Oh,
Massive feat. She almost can't
she
believe
didn't drop it
herself.
too quickly, did she?
I sure hope not.
Great lifts. Great finish to the
3
day.
white lines. She's stoked. That is a huge deadlift.
That's massive.
Huge. All right, Stephanie coming out now for 152.5 kilos in the 57 kilo class. This pull will move her from 4th place into 2nd. So as we said at the start, Sophie Dobson, really convincing lead with a huge total of 420 kilos.
That's crazy.
Sophie representing Compound Training, who are still among the favourites to win this whole thing. This pull will move her from 4th to 2nd. 10 kilo jump. This will be a tall ask, but she's been moving brilliantly today. She knows there's a lot hinging on this.
Fantastic deadlift.
Epic. 3 white lights, that locks in 4 points for the Crundle crew. Man, this is massive. The room feels so tense.
I know. there really is a lot
All right,
riding
Amanda
on all
Lay,
these.
uplift. Currently in 2nd place. This will hold her in 2nd place to collect 4 points for uplift performance, leaving Jordan DeStefano of Process Powerlifting with a very, very, very important 6 points. May of Thirds Co is like break dancing in the middle of the room. We will be lifting here at the Strength Fortress until 7 p.m. tonight. So if you are local and would like to catch some side break dancing,
Yeah.
come on down. All right, Amanda Lay now with 155 kilos. Amanda, a very strong deadlifter. I think this could be an equal PB. Excellent third attempt and excellent attempt selection from Charles.
Yeah.
3 white lights, good lift.
Really good third.
Cool, that's Amanda. Second place, 4 points for uplift performance. Her first time at the TSF Team Champs and only caught up some 3 or 4 weeks ago. So yeah, great representation from Amanda.
Absolutely.
All right, next up we've got Twee. Twee's loaded 170 kilos, which will cement her, or hold her second place position. Nothing to change here. Constance Pandusis is our winner in the women's 63 kilo class. 6 points for Melbourne Strength Culture. Twee taking 4 points for Sim Strength, coached by Josh Sim. This is 7.5 kilos more than her second attempt. Excellent. Not the day she started with. The day she started with was not the day she wanted, but the day she's finishing with is unreal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great redemption for Twee. All right, Constance Pandusis coming out for 182.5 kilos. Is this a PB?
This will be a PB. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So she's already taken the lead. What else is there to go for? You go for glory, my
Personal
friend.
glory
You go
at
for
this
glory.
point. Yep.
Priority 1, team glory. Priority 2, personal glory.
Yeah, and it's rare in these comps that you get the opportunity for that. So
Exactly.
this is
You have
a
to
cool
have
opportunity
a
to
really
have.
convincing lead. Oh man, she's fired up. That was a gorgeous deadlift. 3 white lights for Constance Pandusis of Melbourne Strength Culture. 6 points. Epic. Love to see it, Alex. Love to see it. All right. As expected, Adwa of Apex Strength has loaded 210 kilos
For the win.
for the win for the 6 points for
the
Apex
marbles.
Strength. Currently in the lead, Emily Kano of Avia Performance, who competed yesterday in the Challengers bracket. Big disadvantage of the Challengers bracket is that you have to compete a day prior to the rest of your competitors. So Adwa's coming out now. She knows what she needs. She needs this 210. She needs this 210 for the 6 points for Apex Strength.
Oh. Oh. So close.
Boy,
Valiant effort.
that was such a valiant effort.
But that
that
means
was a
that-
fight.
Yeah. Look, that's what she came to do and had to do and had to attempt. But it does mean MKno from day one and Arvia do get those 6 points.
Yeah, look,
I wonder if that will cost Apex in the end.
it'll cost them something.
It'll cost them something.
4 points there for Apex Strength with a second place position there by Adwa. She did have a stunning day. She only lost the 2.5 kilos on bench press.
Yeah.
There was nothing else there.
Yeah.
She had to load that 210. Like, that was a stunning day out for her. Unfortunately, not enough. Emily Kano of Avia Performance will retain her 6 points. All right, we're back to the top. Men now.
Victor May kicking us off with 185.
More dancing than we typically see at a powerlifting competition.
More dancing.
185 kilos out of Victor May.
Good lifting conditions at the fort today.
Good lifting conditions, slightly better than last year.
Yep. Last year we had a 40 degree weekend across both days. 43.
Outside.
50 plus inside.
Brutal. All right, 210 now for Edgar. Off his openers, his forecast in 5th position.
So it's actually Callan Beaton coming out for yes it is, for 225. That moves. I think we'll see some pretty big jump into a second year, maybe 25.
Yeah, that was very convincing.
20.
All right, Rodney Pham coming out for 230 kilos. Brilliant lifter, extremely strong. He has only made 2 successful squat attempts and 2 successful bench press attempts. Not hugely costly, but there were kilos there. Very impressive lifter. Currently forecast 3rd in this like very stacked 83 kilo class. Easy. Such an easy opening attempt. I do expect we'll see some big jumps from him.
Yeah.
That was a very conservative opening attempt.
In these low 200 openers, we tend to see 15 to 20 kilo jumps with all of these men.
I think we can definitely see that from Rodney.
Yeah.
All right, next up we've got Dean Antoniadis of Melbourne Strength Culture coming out for 235 kilos. Very smooth opening attempt, 3 white lights.
Dean's best, I think, is around 260.
Okay. So again, we can probably expect some big jumps.
Yeah.
John Chan of Elemental Strength Society.
Really impressive.
237.5 kilos.
Really impressive.
With a successful pull here, this will put him into the lead.
John actually did lift last year at Team Champs.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. 3 red lights. I thought that might have been the case. He did beat the down command.
Yeah.
Yeah, just beat the down command, so that's obviously an extraordinarily easy fix. However, it just doesn't give you the confidence to take these massive jumps that you otherwise might have taken. As soon as he registers a successful deadlift, he has won the competition. He has won a full 6 points at Elemental Strength Society, so it is really in their best interest to just get him to lift anything.
Yeah,
and then he's won.
It's
so,
a
we'll
funny situation. It's a very funny situation. Frank here first with 245 to open. Moved well. Yeah, funny situation because, you know, John's an experienced lifter.
in any other comp, I'm sure they go up anyway, and they still might go up here, but you would hate to lose points.
God,
You would hate to
not
lose
only lose
points.
it, you get DQ'd. Like,
Well, yeah, correct. Oh, well, yeah, true.
but no, you're exactly like what we said before. It's like priority 1, team glory. Priority 2, individual glory.
Yeah, so they've taken a small jump, which I think
Well,
is
Yeah, it's the
I
right
get
thing
it.
to do.
I get it.
Like, on a personal level, that sucks. On the team level, like, that's what you've got to do, right? It's like,
100%.
like your 6 points are just there for the taking. Like, just take them. Aaron now. Crowd loves Aaron. 257.5 kilos.
So this is actually for the win. On his opener, he can win the 83 kilo class.
We did not project that.
No.
We did not project that he could win this off an opener.
No.
Yeah, I really thought this was going to be a much tighter battle,
Mm-hmm.
but he has just cleaned up.
Oh boy.
Wow. He was not going to put that down early. All right, there's your winner of the men's 83 kilo class.
Now we get the pleasure of seeing how far he can push his deadlifts.
Priority 2, individual glory.
Yeah.
The time is now.
I reckon, what is that, 257?
That was unreal. I did
wonder
not
if he'll
expect
get
that
to,
to be
like-
such a clear win.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, with that lift, he has matched Alex Hayes' total of 682.5 kilos. Being the lighter lift, that does put him in the lead. And now Aaron has been given the green light to do whatever he wants.
Well, that's the other thing. He weighed in at about 78 kilos. So, yeah, I
I
think
feed
Aaron
this
is
kid.
going to be one that will be on all of our radars for years to come. in
Yeah,
the-
no kidding.
Yeah.
21 years old. He's got a big future. Yeah. All right, Victor now coming out for 200 kilos for his second attempt deadlift. Victor lifting for the Crundle crew in the 74 kilo class.
Nice second there. Eddie up next with 230 kilos.
Edgar sitting in 5th place. Points are awarded 6, 4, 3, 2, 1 from 1st through to 5th, and 1 point thereafter.
So in their position, they want to see if there's anything they can do to slip into 4th to get that extra point. From this position, I suspect it's, just force the person in 4th to make their final deadlift.
Yeah, I would completely agree.
So, people might be forecasted, 10, 15 kilos away for each other, but that can be the jump of a second to third deadlift. So if you're within, 20 kilos of someone, on call it true strength, whatever you want to call that, you're always a chance.
There is a chance. It can come down to the final deadlift a lot of the time. All right, John Chan now coming out for 242.5 kilos. John blew up 237.5, but just beat the down command. This is a very, very small jump, and dare I say, much less than what he's capable of. However, he does just have to seal the deal on this.
Yeah.
With this successful attempt, he will win the 66 kilo class.
Back to back, did it last year.
B2B. There we
Well
go.
done.
There we have it. That is 6 points for the Elemental Strength Society. For those of you watching along at home, if you would like to see the live team scoreboard, just head to the TSF Team Champs Instagram. That is at TSF Team Champs. Head to the link tree and you will have the live scoreboard there. The lifting for the rest of the day in this session and absolutely this afternoon session, we're going to see so much change in this team scoreboard. And we'll see who's taking home today's prizes of $5,000.
Nice
Great
second
attempt there from Callum Beaton.
Very easy, very quick. Second attempt for 10 with 3 wild lights for hours for Callum. Coming out next is Rodney.
We've got a lot on the line here. First place, $2,500. Second place, $1,500. Third place, $1,000. And 4 of these teams, the bottom 4 of 8, will be relegated down to the Challengers bracket next year. So there is a lot to fight for. Like, if you're not in the top 3, you are fighting to not be in the bottom 4. A lot to win, a lot to lose.
Yeah, fourth has never sounded so good.
Fourth has never sounded. Fourth and no money has never sounded so damn good.
Rodney with a real solid second there.
Like, that team that comes fourth is going to be so disappointed to not take a grand and so stoked to not get relegated. Boy, are they going to be like bittersweet beers. Yeah. All right, Dean now of Melbourne Strength Culture, coming out for 252.5 kilos. Like you said, he was going to take some big jumps. Here is a 17.5 kilogram jump from his second to his third, which does put him in striking range of that sort of 260 to 270, which is what we expect his top end is. Dean, one of those lifters where like things don't move super fast, right? Like,
Agreed, yep.
it's like, it looks like he's like, you know, maybe reaching top end, but there's actually heaps left in the tank.
Yeah, so I think they're going +5 to 7.5 there.
So that's just moved him into third place
Correct.
with those 3 white lights. Third place collecting 3 points for Melbourne Strength Culture. I wonder if he's in striking range for second. I think the answer is no.
I think the answer is no, but who's jostling with him?
Frank Busquetta. Yeah, so he's out of, I would say, yeah, he's definitely out of reach for second place. So the only person that could chase him down is Edgar, which he won't.
Yeah.
So I think we will see Dean finishing in third place for Melbourne Strength Culture, collecting him 3 points. Frank Busquetta now, 260.
Has to make this, actually.
Frank Busquetta in second position. This is an important pull to hold that.
Ooh, did that go down too quickly?
Yeah, I think it did, and I think he knows it.
This doesn't get interesting. Hang on. So,
Hang on.
no.
3
yeah.
red lights. Yeah, I think he just
yeah.
lost balance at the top. That wasn't an intentional putting down. That was just a loss of balance, loss of grip.
Yeah.
That's really disappointing. That was harder than I think he expected. I expect that we'll probably see him reattempt that unless Dean forces his hand up. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
I reckon they can.
ESS is like raising the roof for Aaron.
How cool.
So Aaron here really just going for some personal glory. He has already taken the win in the men's 83 kilogram class, taking the full 6 points for Elemental Strength Society. I mean, he's just here to have fun now. It's a 15 kilo jump.
15 kilo jump. What do you reckon they're going?
Aaron having a dream day. That gets him to 8 from 8. What does he load? Whatever the hell he wants is what he loads.
Whatever, yeah, whatever
Like,
he's
do what
feeling.
you want, Aaron. Like, you're the man.
I reckon they go, yeah, I'm interested. Maybe
Like, at this point, just have fun.
285?
Yeah.
Maybe 285? 280? Let's see. I'm excited to see it, whatever it is.
Excited to see it. All right, Victor of the Crundle crew coming out now for 210. He's in 6th position. This will keep him in 6th position. That does just lock in 1 point for the Crundle crew. The Crundle crew might be fighting to not be relegated.
I think you're right there. Great finish to his day.
That was a nice deadlift. With 3 white lights, that gives him an 8 out of 9 day. 6th place.
Aaron's loaded nominated 282.5 for his third.
It's a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yes. Sounds pretty big, eh?
All right, Edgar coming out next for 242.5 kilos.
Puts him into 4th position, so an additional point if he can get it, and then forces
It's the only reasonable
someone to
result to
fall.
chase, really.
yeah.
He's out of striking distance for 3rd place.
Yeah.
5th place takes 1 point. 4th place takes 2 points. Right now, every point matters. I don't think SR Strength Collective are in the running for a podium finish,
Correct.
but they are fighting to not be relegated. So, yeah, they're going to be trying to take every single point they can get. If they're in striking distance of 1 point, they're going to want that 1 point.
Oh,
That was a lot of heart.
that was a lot of heart. Were the hips convincing? Judges
3
say
white
yes.
lights. Good lift.
Great third.
Team glory, individual glory. All right, John Chan. John Chan of Elemental Strength Society has already secured the win in the 66 kilo class. He's taken 6 points. They've collected 12 points in this session alone. $255, a very good deadlift at 66 kilos body weight. There's 255 kilos for John Chan.
What a deadlift.
Referees
3
agree,
white lights.
3 white lights. For those of you watching at home, your screen is faster.
Yeah.
Nice. Stunning day for John Chan. All right, next up we've got Rodney Pham coming out for 260 kilos. Rodney Pham is from Sim Strength. He's currently in 3rd position. This will keep him in 3rd position. He can't take anything less than this now. Aaron has taken the win in the 83 kilos class. Alex Hayes holds on to 2nd place. And Rodney 3 is just extending his total here. Bit of fun, but he has cemented 3rd place and 3 points for Sim Strength. In a really stacked class.
Oh, fantastic third.
It's a great deadlift. Yeah, he's had an excellent day. 3 white lights. 3rd place in the 83 kilos class is epic. This has been our most stacked class of the weekend with 11 lifters.
Yeah.
And 11 very good lifters. So yeah, to take 3rd place there is actually a really, really fantastic result for Rodney. All right, next up we've got Frank Boschetta coming out. He's going to reattempt 260 kilos. He did lock this out on the 2nd attempt. It did look like he lost balance at the top and did not wait for the down command from the chief referee. It did look around his top end. Maybe there was a few more kilos in the tank, but probably not worth risking it. This is important here for Frank. That moved better than his second.
No issues
260, I think we can expect 3 white lights, correct?
Dean Antoniadis had a placeholder in at 272.5. They'll bring that down now.
All right, so that is second place there for Frank Busquetta. Dean has just changed his third attempt to 262.5. So Frank has confirmed second place there now,
Yep.
and 4 points for uplift performance. All right, we've got Callan Beaton coming out now for 260 kilos. He's competing in that stacked 83 kilos class. He's in 7th place. This will hold him in 7th place. Man, at 260 kilos, leaving you in 7th place, like really speaks to the caliber of competition we're seeing here today.
Absolutely.
Like, this is a big, big deadlift.
Not going to budge. Valiant effort.
Great effort, great effort. All right, Dean of Melbourne Strength Culture coming out next for 262.5 kilos. This will,
This will be
confirm
tough, but
third place.
this might be, because his place is locked in, this might be an individual PB,
Yeah.
so just loaded and
Yeah.
see what happens.
So Dean has taken the 3 points for Melbourne Strength Culture. The result of this lift will not change that.
Yep.
Two Pelicans has asked, do we drug test? Yes, we drug test. We are sanctioned by the Australian Powerlifting Alliance, who is a drug-free powerlifting federation in Australia. Unfortunately, the lift. 3 points there for Melbourne Strength Culture. For those following on the live scoreboard, we do still have our teams from day one sitting in the top 5 positions. However, Elemental Strength Society has only had 2 lifters come out so far. They're sitting on 13 points. Melbourne Strength Culture has only had 2 lifters come out so far, and they're sitting on 11 points. We've got Aaron coming out now. Aaron has locked in his 6 points, first place in the incredibly stacked men's 83 kilo class. This deadlift, personal glory solely. He's already done everything he needs to do for his team. And the bar is loaded for Aaron.
Wow. We
Stunning
really
attempt
have
selection.
witnessed an unbelievable performance by Aaron. This is, yeah, it's been really, really, really special to watch.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Wow.
Where we?
Wow, wow, wow. That concludes our morning session. A lot's happened. About half of our results have now been locked in. This afternoon, commencing at 4 p.m. in 10 minutes, we do have the afternoon session, which includes the 69 kilo women, as well as the men 93 kilos and above.
Yeah. So we do have a live scoreboard that you might see, but it is important to know that even though Compound, Process are in those top 2 positions, they did lift yesterday, meaning that results from this next session might decrease their points.
Yes.
And it
So
we might just see a real reshuffle of the ladder. One team to really look out for is Apex. They do have 3 lifters in this last session.
Do you have a pick from this point onwards, a gut feeling?
Oh. I think Compound could take out the whole thing.
Yep.
That's crazy because Compound only took second place yesterday. So if you look at the scoreboard now, you'll see that Compound is in first place and Process is in second. Process finished yesterday on a total 25 points, which is the maximum points they could win, but they have just lost those 2 points with Alex Hayes moving from first to second in the 83 kilo class. Compound have held on to all of their points. They haven't lost any placings so far. I think Compound could hold that. I think Apex are the ones to look out for. And let's never count out ESS.
Yep, I agree.
That concludes our first session for today. There is a new live stream for the afternoon sessions, so just stay on our YouTube channel and find that session 2 of today. That'll kick off in 10 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors, City Strength, for supporting us this weekend. We couldn't do it without them. Thank you to the Strength Fortress for hosting. Thank you for joining me, Alex.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to just all the people that help run this competition.
It's been a massive event.
Couldn't be done without everyone's help. So
yeah.
all right. Hope
Thanks
you
for tuning
enjoyed
in, guys.
this.
We'll catch you in 10 minutes.
See ya.